I'm going to drop into Monique toward Candiace, Giselle, and Ashley, removing themselves from the fire pit and having their little conversation amongst themselves. The voice I immediately hear is, I don't like this. I'm not in control of the situation. I don't like being on the outside of this situation. Part of this is I don't want them getting closer to Candiace. I don't want them forgiving Candiace. I don't want them being on Candiace's side. I want Candiace to pay for what she's done. I want her to continue to pay for what she's done. It's both. I want Candiace to continue to pay for what she's done, and I'm also scared they're going to align with her and turn against me in a place that feels very vulnerable to me. And so there's a voice that's very much saying, I don't like this, I don't like this, what are they talking about? I don't like not knowing what's going on behind my back. This is a place where I feel very uncertain, I feel on shaky ground, and I feel like I gotta kind of tense up and like prepare myself and defend myself here. I think this would be an interesting jumping off pad to maybe drop into Monique specifically towards Candiace and why she's feeling so triggered by Candiace right now. When I drop into Monique towards Candiace, it is this force of rage that just wants to leap out of me. It's almost like a panther, you know, or a hyena. It just wants to go in for the kill. It's like the energy of annihilation. I want to pummel you. I want to pummel you. I want to pummel you. I want to make you pay. And there's a real flavor here of, who do you think you are to judge me? You're just this little privileged, spoiled princess pageant girl. You've never had to work for anything. Your mother's given you everything. You've cakewalked through life. Who are you to judge me and what I've been through? There's a real sense here in Monique as feeling like a survivor, like someone who's had to really rely on herself to survive. It reminds me of like almost a dog that was a little bit like abused and then abandoned. You know how like when those dogs get rescued, they're on guard and they're ready to bite? That's what Monique's energy feels like to me here. It's like I'm ready to protect myself at all costs because this is what I've learned I have to do. And who are you to judge me and to come after me when you know nothing about the kind of life that I've had to live? I think things turned for Monique when Candiace brought Charisse to the anniversary party. So a lot of Monique's heat around Candiace is whatever Charisse is representing to her Monique. So I'm now going to drop in to Monique toward Charisse. It's a very similar flavor of who are you to judge me. It's this sense of you're this privileged athlete's wife, everything's been handed to you, you've been taken care of. Monique herself is an athlete's wife. So it's interesting that she would see Charisse in this position as like the snooty, snobby athlete's wife who's never really had to work for anything or who's had a really easy life and then sort of judges her from atop her pedestal. So to me, this really suggests that there is something in Monique that despite her current financial and social standing, and I don't actually really know anything about Monique's background. I don't know sort of what her upbringing was or where she comes from, but it feels like she feels like a scrappy underdog, like a fighter, like someone who's had to really kind of like fight her way to where she is and that she doesn't fully quite belong. This place where Charisse is gossiping about a possible indiscretion on Monique's part, I feel that it's hitting a really deep sense of shame in Monique. It's almost like there's a part of Monique, oh my God, even as I'm saying this, my thighs are tensing up, meaning I can feel the part of Monique's energy that desperately resists what I'm about to say and bring it into consciousness. It feels like there's a part of Monique that can get kind of like what she experiences as messy. she can get kind of reckless. She can get kind of sloppy is the word I'm hearing. It's like almost like something in her gets a little out of control. I'm thinking here now of crashing her car into the trees, possibly drunk, she claims not, which again, you'll remember that kind of triggered a similar very defensive response in her. Or maybe it's her flirting with her trainer or having some sort of like moment of sloppiness or recklessness with her trainer. She feels she's got this sloppier, messier side to her that's not okay. And she's spending a lot of her time trying to rein it in. And she feels so much shame about it that when other people come in and kind of poke her there, like Charisse, the snobby elitist athlete's wife who's never had to work for anything in her life, comes in and wants to sort of poke her in this place where she's a little sloppy and a little messy, it really lands with Monique because there's a part of her that believes she has something to be ashamed of. There's a part of her that believes she doesn't really belong in this world, and this is a place where she can get really provoked and hurt and triggered. So when Charisse is poking at this place, I, as Monique, am outraged and ready to fight at a moment's notice. And then when Candiace comes in, who herself is this privileged princess, who doesn't really understand struggle, who doesn't really understand what it's like to walk the path that Monique has walked, and Candiace is in cahoots with Charisse, I'm just frickin' so ready to pounce on Candiace. It's like, don't you dare try to turn this against me. There's something about my experience in this world as an underdog who didn't have a lot of privilege and had to fight for what I have and to fend for myself. You don't understand what this is like, and I'm so tired of having to fight myself. I'm so tired of having to justify myself, and I'm so tired of having to apologize for myself. And it does really feel like there's this way in which Monique doesn't feel like she has a right to all these different parts of herself, and that there is a role she has to play. And when the role or the mask that she wears gets peeled back a little, it triggers a fiercely angry and protective defense response. It's almost like this feeling of I'm on a tight wire. I'm walking a tightrope. I'm walking a tightrope. I'm walking a tightrope, juggling all these balls, and if if the wind comes through, it could knock me off balance and the whole thing's gonna fall down. And I felt so comfortable and secure when the other women were on my side against Candiace, that made me feel so much more comfortable. But now they're no longer at my side, they're with Candiace. And in this place, I am so agitated, I'm so nervous, I'm so insecure, I'm not in control here. I'm not in control here, and it freaks me the F out. A lot of people have asked me what's going on with Monique and T'Challa. So I'm gonna drop in right now to Monique and T'Challa. Oh, okay, so what I immediately heard was he's mine. This is mine. This is my parrot, my bird, my creature, my space. You can't take this away from me. You don't get a say in this. Me and T'Challa, like, we have each other's back. This bird is something that Monique gets to claim as her own. It feels defiant. So in the place where she's been like playing roles for other people and keeping parts of herself hidden underneath the rug, there's a way that she doesn't feel like she has full permission to claim the full domain and the full space of her life. And what T'Challa does is it feels like it gives her sort of a little chunk of her life where she has full domain. With T'Challa, it's like I don't have to play a role for anyone. I don't know if you guys have had experience with parrots, but let me tell you, I've had some experience with parrots. Parrots, you don't mess around with a parrot. Like, parrots are not friendly birds. Like, they can bite you with those beaks and it hurts. They can be very aggressive. I kind of feel this like feeling of like satisfaction and pleasure in Monique of like, yeah, T'Challa's got my back. You don't mess with me. You don't mess with T'Challa. And I kind of like that this bird freaks everyone out. I'm getting into Ashley next, so stay tuned for that.